In this video, we'll be covering the installation of a Can-Am Defender Street Legal turn signal kit from WD Electronics. This installation video should be accurate for all years and models of the Can-Am Defender. On models equipped with a tilt windshield, unlock the handle inside the machine and lift it up out of the way. Lift the center hood panel by pulling the front edge towards you to release the two locking pins and lift it into the locked position. Now you will remove the driver's side hood panel. First, remove the two plastic push pins from the inside edge of the panel. Next, remove the two highlighted Torx bolts from the back side of the hood panel. Remove the panel. Once the driver's side hood panel is removed, it will expose this hole in the frame with a grommet that will be used to route cables later. Remove the storage bin in the location shown by carefully releasing the two plastic pins on the bottom corners. Once the bin is removed, remove the two hex bolts inside the top edge of the opening. Remove the two remaining Torx bolts near the tilt piston and remove the panel. Remove the switch panel in the center of the dash by carefully prying the bottom edge free and releasing the clips. Remove the three plastic push pins from the front passenger side floor panel. On four-door Defender models, remove the three plastic push pins on the rear passenger's floor panel. Remove both panels. Remove all the bolts in the locations shown. The bottom two bolts have hex nuts on the back, inside the driver's footwell. They need to be held to remove the bolts. Remove the panel. We include the L-shaped bracket to secure the switch to the top of the steering wheel with the included rubber well nuts and bolts. For models with full doors, we recommend recessing the column lever into the plastic steering wheel shroud. This is our preferred method. First, remove the four Torx fasteners from the bottom side of the plastic steering column shroud. Remove the single plastic push pin from the bottom half of the shroud and remove both halves of the cover. Remove the L-shaped bracket from the turn signal lever. Now hold the switch in position on the steering column and secure it using the round silver bracket and gold screws. Leave the bolts slightly loose until the shroud is trimmed and ready to be installed. Mark the hole in the plastic steering column shroud according to your instructions. Carefully cut out the hole starting just inside the lines you marked. You can always trim out more later. You can use whatever tool you like to make the cuts. We recommend a Dremel tool and a file. Test fit the cover and trim it to fit as necessary. Once the bottom half has been trimmed, we will trim the top half of the shroud. Mark the hole for the top half according to your instructions. Carefully cut out the hole, starting inside the lines you marked. Test fit the covers together and trim as necessary. Install the bottom half of the plastic shroud you trimmed into place and secure it with the plastic push pin. Insert the body of the turn signal switch into the bottom half of the cover and route the wiring underneath the dash inside the cover. Tighten the bolts on the switch bracket all the way down. Install the top half of the cover into place and reinstall the 4 Torx bolts into the bottom of the cover to secure it. Locate the power cable with the small black 2-pin connector. Connect it using the mating bullet connectors on the control module. Connect them matching the colors red to red and black to black. Make sure the plastic insulation is fully covering the connections. Mount the control module under the dash to the left of the steering column on the outside wall of the kick plate. Mount the module up in your desired location and mark 2 of the holes. If equipped, the bracket for the HVAC tubing can be removed to give better access. Drill out the holes and use 2 of the supplied nylon lock nuts and bolts to secure the module to the kick plate. Connect the wiring for the turn signal lever to the mating connector on the long cable covered in black wire loom on the control module. You will hear the connectors click into place. Begin by removing the headlight adjustment screw with the plastic handle. Be sure not to lose the spring and washer when removing. Remove the top hex bolt using a socket wrench. Disconnect the wiring harness from the accent light housing by lifting the locking tab and sliding it free. There are 2 plastic tabs holding the housing in place that need to be removed. A screwdriver or pick tool can be used to help release the tabs. Be careful not to damage the mounting tabs when removing them. Carefully remove the accent light. Repeat these removal steps on both sides of the machine. Install the WD accent lights into the bumper from the back side and clip the mounting tabs into the housing. Reinstall the factory hex head fastener into the factory location using a socket wrench. Install the headlight adjustment screw through the headlight mounting tab and reinstall the spring and washer onto the screw. Repeat the installation on both sides of the machine. Remove the grommet from the hole near the roll cage. Feed the small 2-pin connector on the accent light harness through the hole from the outside. You can cut the grommet if desired to route the connectors through the grommet. One side of the harness is labeled for the driver's side of the machine. Route one side of the harness to each front accent light, and connect the 2-pin connector to the mating connector on the accent light housing. Connect the remaining yellow bullet connector to the mating connector on the accent light. Repeat on both sides. Using the included zip ties, secure all the wiring away from any hot or moving components. Connect the 4-pin connector on the harness to the mating connector on the control module. Open the tailgate to gain access to the tail light mounting screws. Remove the 2 bolts shown on the passenger side of the tailgate opening. With the screws removed, pull the taillight housing out and disconnect the factory harness. Starting on the passenger side taillight, locate the inline taillight adapter with the long white wire. Connect it to the factory harness and reconnect the taillight to the other side. Feed the end of the long white wire down into the taillight cavity and locate it underneath the bed. Reinstall the passenger's taillight with the 2 factory bolts. On the driver's side, remove the 2 taillight mounting bolts, remove the taillight housing, and disconnect the factory wiring harness. Connect the driver's side taillight adapter harness with the extra 2-pin connector to the factory wiring harness and reconnect the taillight to the other side. Follow the factory wiring harness and the frame to route the long white wire from the passenger side taillight to the driver's side. When you reach the driver's side, feed the end of the white wire under the cover and up to the driver's side taillight cavity. You should end up with 3 bullet connectors, red, black, and white at the driver's side taillight. Secure the white wire along the factory harness with zip ties. Now locate the colored bundle of wires under the dashboard, behind the center switch panel you previously removed. Locate the 2-piece black cable in your kit with the 3 inner wires. Start with the short end of the cable and connect the 3-pin connector to the mating connector on the control module. Route the other end with the 3 bullet connectors underneath the dash towards the center. Connect the 3 bullet connectors to 3 of the available color-coded wires underneath the dash. We recommend using brown wire with red stripe, brown wire with blue stripe, and solid brown wires. Make sure that the plastic insulation is fully covering each connection. You may use any of the available wires, as long as the same 3 wires are available under the passenger's floor panel. Locate the colored bundle of wires under the passenger's floor panel you previously moved. Locate the correct end of the longer black cable with the 3 inner wires. Connect the 3 bullet connectors on the black cable to the same 3 color-coded wires you connected the shorter end to under the dashboard. Verify that the inner red, black, and white wires are connected to the same color-coded wires on both ends, and that the plastic insulation is fully covering each connection. Route the long black cable to the rear of the machine utilizing the factory cable clips and included zip ties. Follow the factory wiring harness as closely as possible. When you reach the rear firewall, continue feeding the cable back, following the factory wiring. Locate the end of the cable under the bed on the other side. Route the cable following the factory taillight wiring to the passenger side taillight. And then across the bed to the driver's side taillight. Once you reach the driver's taillight, feed the end of the cable under the cover and up into the driver's side taillight cavity. Secure the cable away from any hot or moving components with zip ties. At the driver's side taillight, connect the end of the long black cable to the 3 mating bullet connectors on the inline taillight adapters. Match up the colors red to red, black to black, and white to white. Make sure that the plastic insulation is fully covering each connection. Choose a rocker switch slot in your dash and remove the plastic switch blank from the hole by pressing it out from the back side. Install the entire horn harness into the hole and clip the rocker switch into the slot. Route the black 2-pin connector with the blue clip to the control module and connect it to the mating connector with the same blue clip. Route the end of the horn harness with the red and black spade connectors through the back side of the hole, near the roll cage, and through the rubber grommet. Locate an existing hole or bolt under the hood to mount the horn housing. We recommend the hole shown, or drilling a new one next to the existing hole. Remove the plastic clip from the hole that holds the headlight wiring up. Install the round end of the provided bracket onto the stud on the horn and tighten it down by hand. Hold the horn bracket up and angle the horn opening towards the front of the machine. Once you've verified the angle, tighten the bracket down. Use one of the provided nuts and bolts to mount the horn bracket to the hole. Once the housing is mounted, route and connect the red and black spade connectors on the horn harness to the posts on the housing. They are reversible and can be installed in either direction. Secure the wiring you removed from the mounting hole to the horn bracket using a zip tie. Locate the power cable in your license plate kit with the black and blue 2-pin connector. Connect the 2-pin connector to the mating connector on the driver's side inline taillight adapter. Feed the other end with the bullet connectors down the taillight cavity and underneath the bed. Reinstall the taillight into the taillight cavity and install the 2 mounting bolts. Using the license plate bracket as a template, hold the mounting tab up to the metal frame and mark the location for the 2 holes. Lift the tilt bed and hold the bracket in place to ensure it does not contact the tire or frame when tilted all the way. Once you have verified the location, install the bracket into the metal frame using the included self-tapping screws. Connect the wiring on the LED license plate frame to the power cable coming from the driver's side taillight, matching the colors red to red and black to black. Cut a notch in your license plate for the wiring according to your instructions. Install the plate into the LED frame and hold both up on the mounting bracket. Use the 4 included black nuts and bolts to secure the plate and frame into the bracket. Once installed, secure all wiring away from any hot or moving components. Lift up the lid on the dashboard behind the instrument cluster. Next, carefully pop out the instrument cluster and trim from the dash. Remove the connector from the instrument cluster by sliding the red tab back and depressing the black locking tab. Slide the connector free and set the cluster aside. Remove the white pin cover from the front of the connector by depressing the 2 tabs in opposite directions of the connector. You may use pick tools or micro screwdrivers to release the tabs. Remove the white pin cover to access the pins. The pin positions are not labeled. The needed positions are both 4th pin from the left when facing the connector as shown. Carefully remove the white placeholders from the needed positions. Insert the 2 pins into the needed positions. Make sure you insert them matching the orientation of the factory pins. The black wire goes in the top row and the red wire goes in the bottom row. Make sure all the pins are seated correctly. Reinstall the white cover over them and clip into place. Reinstall the connector into the instrument cluster and press the red tab back down to lock it in place. Route the 4-pin connector to the control module and connect it to the mating connector. Behind the center switch panel, near the bus bar power post, there's a small 2-pin accessory power connector. It is usually secured into the plastic inside of a black or white dummy plug. It can be difficult to locate, but all Defender models are equipped with this connector. Remove the plastic dummy plug from its mounting point, and remove it from the connector by depressing the small locking tab in the middle of one side. Route the 2-pin connector of the power cable for the control module under the dash towards the center of the machine. Connect it to the accessory power connector that you located in the last step. Make sure they clip into place. If you purchase the optional hazard switch, you will plug this in line with the turn signal switch wiring harness. Remove a plastic switch blank in your desired location. Insert the whole hazard switch harness through the slot and clip the switch into place. Disconnect the connector for the turn signal lever by lifting the locking tab and sliding it free. Install the hazard switch harness in line with the turn signal switch and the control module wiring. Make sure any loose wiring is secured away from any hot or moving components. Now it's time to test your turn signals, horn, and lighted license plate frame.